Loretta Lynn names the lesbian singer off old Hollywood she dated in secret. Loretta Lynn was born Loretta Webb on April 14, 1932 in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky. She grew up in an extra-poor rural Appalachian family during the Great Depression. Her upbringing was defined by hardship and resilience. She was one of several children in a large family living in a small one-room log cabin without electricity or running water. Despite these severe conditions, Lynn's childhood was rich in storytelling, music, and faith. Her early exposure to gospel music in church and folk songs sung by her family shaped her deep connection to music, planting seeds for her future career. Loretta learned from a young age the power of words, narrative, and melody, which would later become hallmarks of her songwriting and performances. Lynn married Oliver Doolittle Lynn at the age of 15, embarking on a partnership that would last decades. Marked by both loyalty and turbulence, their marriage, like her music, was infused with real-life struggles, financial hardship, domestic challenges, and the responsibilities of raising 6 children in modest circumstances. Yet, these experiences became the foundation for her authentic voice as an artist, giving her a unique perspective in life's hardships, particularly for women in rural America. Loretta's lyrics often reflected themes of love, betrayal, empowerment, and resilience, resonating with audiences who recognized the honesty and vulnerability in her storytelling. Loretta Lynn's career officially began in the late 1950s when she started performing locally and eventually caught the attention of the country music industry. Her breakthrough came with their release of I'm a Honky Tonk Girl in 1960. A song she promoted by personally driving from radio station to radio station across the country. A testament to her determination and work ethic, this self-promotion was not only innovative at the time, but also emblematic of her tenacious spirit over the following decades. Lynn produced a string of hit records that solidified her place in country music history, including iconic songs like Coal Miner's Daughter, You Ain't Woman Oughta Take My Man, Don't Come Home a-Drinking with Loving on Your Mind on Don't S on the Way. These songs were revolutionary, particularly for their unapologetic focus on the female experience, including subjects considered taboo in mainstream music at the time, such as marital strife, female desire, and domestic challenges. Lynn's contributions to music extended beyond her songwriting and singing. She was a trailblazer for women in country music, challenging the industry's male-dominatedness and proving that women could write, produce, and headline their own careers. She earned numerous accolades, including multiple Grammy Awards, Country Music Association Awards, and induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1988. Her life story was immortalized in the autobiographic Angelsons, and later in the 1980 film Coal Miner's Daughter starring Space, which won critical acclaim and brought her story to an even wider audience. Through her work, Lynn inspired generations of female artists to speak their truth and share their experiences unapologetically. In 1987, Loretta Lynn once again demonstrated her versatility and relevance in the ever-changing world of country music when she lent her unmistakable voice to Katie Lang's highly acclaimed album, Shadowland. The record, produced by the legendary Alan Bradley, who was also instrumental in shaping Loretta's own career during the Nashville Sound era, brought together some of the biggest names in country music. Alongside other powerful female voices such as Kitty Wells and Brenda Lee, Loretta contributed to the track Honky Tonk Angels Medley, a spirited collaboration that paid tribute to the pioneering women of country music. The project was not only a nod to tradition, but also a bridge between generations, with Loretta serving as both an icon of the past and a mentor-like presence for newer artists like Katie Lang, who looked up to her as a trailblazer. The album struck a chord with both critics and fans, achieving gold certification and earning a Grammy Award nomination, further cementing Loretta's enduring influence and reminding the industry that she was still a formidable force well into the 1980s. The following year, in 1988, Loretta released Who Was That Stranger?, her final solo album under a major recording label. This release was particularly important because it represented the end of an era in her recording career. Although the album did not produce the chart-topping hits of her earlier years, it nonetheless showcased her distinctive storytelling ability and her gift for capturing the struggles, humor, and resilience of everyday life in her music. Rather than continuing to pursue grueling cycle of releasing singles and albums year after year, Loretta shifted her focus toward touring. By the late 1980s, her live performances had become legendary experiences, full of energy, warmth, and the kind of authenticity that fans cherished. She would often share personal anecdotes between songs, making audiences feel like they were part of her extended family. Touring became her main avenue of connection with fans, and it kept her music alive in the hearts of country audiences, even without a steady stream of new studio releases. After a couple of years of stepping back from recording, Loretta made a triumphant return to the music scene in 1993 with a hit CD that surprised many industry insiders who had wondered if she could still command the charts. The album quickly gained traction, peaking at number 6 on the Billboard Country chart and impressively reaching number 68 on the Billboard Pop chart, proving her crossover appeal had not diminished with time. Even more remarkable was its commercial success. It sold over 800,000 copies in the United States alone and also received gold certification in Canada. For a country star whose career had begun in the 1960s, this was no small feat. The album's success underscored her ability to resonate with new generations of listeners while still satisfying her lifelong fans. Yet, despite this resurgence, Loretta chose not to immediately follow up with more albums, preferring instead to take another step back. This decision reflected both her deep devotion to family and her desire to pace herself after decades of relentless work in the industry. In 1996, Loretta's personal life was struck by tragedy with the death of her beloved husband Oliver Loretta Lynn, who had been her partner in life and in many ways in her career. Their marriage, often described as turbulent yet deeply loyal, had been a constant thread through her rise to fame. His passing marked a profound turning point for Loretta. After a period of mourning and reflection, she found her way back to music as a form of healing and self-expression. In 2000, she released her much-anticipated comeback album, Still Country. The album was warmly received, celebrated for its sincerity and for Loretta's ability to blend personal reflection with the traditional country sound that had always defined her. She followed this release with her single Country in My Jeans, her first in nearly a decade. The song became a major hit, climbing to the top of the Billboard Country chart. For longtime fans, it was both a reassurance and a celebration. Loretta Lynn was still a powerful voice in country music, and her story was far from over. Even as the decades rolled on, Loretta never lost her passion for courting. In 2021, at the remarkable age of 88, she released her 46th and final solo studio album, Still Woman Ah. The album was both a retrospective and a celebration of her legacy, featuring rare recordings of some of her classics alongside new material and collaborations with modern country stars such as Reba McEntire, Tanya Tucker, and Carrie Underwood. The record reached number 83 on the Billboard 200 and climbed to number 9 on the US Top Country Albums, a testament to her staying power after nearly 60 years in the music industry. Critics praised the album as a fitting farewell, an affirmation of the themes she had championed throughout her life: resilience, womanhood, and the unapologetic embrace of her roots. For fans, it was not just an album, but a final gift encapsulating the spirit of a woman who had given everything to Herod and to the genre of country music, Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter who went on to become one of the most influential voices in country music. Was known throughout her career for her honesty and her ability to break barriers in a genre that often shied away from controversy. But what few knew during her lifetime was that she carried with her a deeply personal secret, one that tied her not only to the world of Nashville, but also to the glamorous, forbidden side of old Hollywood. In rare conversations near the later part of her life, Loretta quietly revealed that she once had a hidden romantic relationship with none other than Marlene Dietrich. The legend German-born actress and singer whose reputation as a bold, unapologetic soul woman of Hollywood's golden age had both shocked and fascinated the public. Loretta and Marlene could not have been more different on the surface. Marlene, on the other hand, was the ultimate cosmopolitan star, an international screen siren draped in furs and tuxedos who challenged gender norms with her sharp suits, husky voice, and defiant sensuality. Yet, it was precisely this contrast that seemed to ignite a spark between them. Loretta in private moments described it being both intimidated and captivated by Marlene's worldliness, her fearlessness in expressing her desires, and the way she carried herself with total command. Whether in a men's suit on stage or in a glittering gown on the red carpet, the two women first crossed paths in the 1960s, at a time when Loretta was rapidly climbing the charts and Marlene was reinventing herself as a cabaret performer, commanding stages around the world with her smoky voice and daring persona. Marlene admired Loretta's raw authenticity, her ability to sing about women's experiences with apologetic truth, while Loretta found herself drawn into Marlene's aura, a mix of danger, sophistication, and warmth that felt almost otherworldly. Their connection began innocently enough with long conversations about music, performance, and what it meant to be a woman in industries that were overwhelmingly controlled by men. But slowly, it deepened into something far more intimate. According to Loretta's private recollections, Marlene pursued her with a kind of patience and charm that Loretta had never experienced before. Marlene was known for her liaison with both men and women, but with Loretta, she exercised tenderness, respecting the country star's deep-rooted religious beliefs and the risks that came with any form of same-sex relationship in that era. "She made me feel safe," Loretta once confided to a close friend, describing how Marlene would whisper to her in German endearments she barely understood, yet somehow felt deeply moved by. Behind closed doors, away from the flashing cameras and recording studios, the two women shared moments of laughter, vulnerability, and desire. Moments Loretta treasured but also kept locked away, fearful of the scandal it could bring to her career and family life if revealed. What made their bond even more remarkable was how different their lives were outside of this hidden romance. Loretta was tied to her husband, Lynn, in a complicated marriage marked by both love and hardship, while Marlene lived far more independently, known for keeping lovers of both sexes without apology. And yet, in their secret relationship, Loretta found herself liberated in ways she had never known before. Marlene encouraged her to embrace her own power, to see herself as more than just a country girl made good, but as a woman with a voice that could challenge the world. It was Marlene, Loretta admitted, who inspired some of her boldest songwriting choices. Theons that pushed boundaries about women's roles, desire, and freedom. Still, the weight of secrecy was heavy. Loretta understood that if the truth ever came out, not only her career, but also her family's reputation could be destroyed in an instant. At that time, country music fans in America were not ready to accept such revelations, and Loretta was not willing to risk alienating the people who had lifted her from Butcher Hollow to the Grand Ole Opry. Thus, the romance faded quietly, sealed away as one of the deepest untold stories of her life. Marlene continued her glittering performances in European Las Vegas, while Loretta went on to build her empire as the first woman in country music to win major accolades and sell millions of records. Even so, thievery never left her. In her latter years, Loretta hinted at this relationship with a wistful kind of pride, not of scandal, but of having been loved and cherished by someone who saw her fully as a woman beyond her stage persona. Naming Marlene Dietrich as the woman she secretly dated was more than just an admission. It was a reclaiming of her truth, a nod to the complexity of love, and a reminder that even icons carry stories far more layered than the public ever sees. Throughout her remarkable life, Loretta Lynn faced a series of serious health challenges that tested her strength and determination, yet never dimmed the light of her legendary career. Over the years, she battled multiple bouts of pneumonia, a persistent threat that reminded everyone that even country music royalty is human. On top of this illness, she endured the physical pain and inconvenience of a broken arm resulting from a fall at her home, demonstrating her vulnerability in ways that made her all the more relatable to her fans. In May 2017, Lynn's health struggles took a more severe turn when she suffered a stroke at her home in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. The stroke was a sudden and frightening event, requiring her immediate transfer to a hospital in nearby Nashville. This medical emergency forced her to cancel upcoming tour dates, halting the momentum of a career that had spanned more than 6 decades. Adding to the challenges, the release of her much-anticipated album, Wouldn't It Be Great, had to be postponed, eventually debuting in 2018, a testament to Lynn's enduring dedication to her craft despite the obstacles life threw in her path. Tragically, just as the new year began on January 1, 2018, Lynn suffered another accident, falling and breaking her hip, an injury that further tested her resilience, but never diminished her indomitable spirit. After a life filled with music, love, and the highs and lows of fame, Loretta Lynn passed away peacefully in her sleep at their beloved Hurricane Mills home on October 4, 2022 at the age of 90, while the exact cause of her death wasn't immediately disclosed. Her passing marked the end of an era in country music, leaving a profound void in the hearts of fans around the world. 3 days later, she was laid to rest on her cherished Hurricane Mills ranch, resting beside her devoted husband, Doolittle. A poignant final chapter in the story of a woman whose life was as rich and powerful as the song she sang. Her legacy, however, remains timeless, etched not only in her recordings, but in the countless lives she touched through her music, her courage, and her unwavering authenticity.